live and in Technicolor. Welcome to the Demon's Tea Room. Have everybody a chance to come in, sit down, and grab something to drink and grab a seat. Miss Lisa, hello, welcome. Give everybody a chance to get into the tea room real quick, and we will get started. Everybody a chance to come in and sit down, grab a cup of tea. Miss Annie, welcome. Marco in the house. Miss Leslie, welcome guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Miss Misty, welcome guys. Super Jim, my little sister, one of my crewmates. Welcome to Shonda. It's a pretty name. As well you should be, Leslie. As well you should be. My brother Daniel is in the house. Brother Zach. Rosa, welcome. Hey there guys, will everybody come in, grab a seat, grab the tea, and we will get started. Get this party started. As much as you can in a pandemic. Give everybody just a minute or so more to get in. We'll get going. Greetings, Melissa. Hola, ¿cómo está? Catalina, welcome, welcome, welcome. Miss Tina, welcome guys. My brother Josh in the house. I should say my little big brother. I need to get a picture next time, Josh, when we get through the pandemic and Josh gets to come over to the house to visit. It's funny watching him walk into the Hobbit hole because he truly looks like Gandalf. Since our ceilings are 6'5", yeah, Josh has to stand in there like this. It's hilarious. So does Richard, Mad Dog's husband. It's hilarious. Evie and I love it because we feel tall. I won't tell anybody, Josh, if you won't. Weston in the house. All right, y'all. We're going to get started here in just a second. Mr. David, welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lawrence, welcome. And remember, Tina, size isn't everything. Dana Moore Smith in the house. There's Chaz. Welcome, y'all. You guys fill my heart up coming in and listening to me rant and rave for every day at 2 o'clock. You guys must be really bored. I mean, I know it is a pandemic and all, but come on. No, it means the world when you guys come in and listen for a little while. Welcome, Larry. This is true, Daniel. This is true. Just remember, smaller is more aerodynamic. It's how I get my butt out of trouble on a regular basis. My brother Zombie in the house. Give my nephew big hugs for me, brother. And the Lulu face. All right, y'all. So we'll go ahead and get started. Looks like we got a good portion of our group in the house. So, as always, welcome to the Demons Team Room. We're going live on the air this April, what today is? April 6, 2020. For those of you who are new here to the Demons Tea Room, my name is Cedric. I'm going to be your host for just a little while here in the tea room. For those of you who haven't got a chance to meet me, I am the lead investigator and founding member of New Orleans Paranormal Explorers. Put the first letters of that together, it spells NOTE. We're the official NOTE team. We do paranormal investigations all across the country. And I almost forgot, you just reminded me, Kaiju's on the distance. It's time to start the war clock. And the war clock has started, and I'm not just making that up. We do have a war clock. All right, y'all. So before we get into our main topic for today, I have a public service announcement for you guys. I want you guys to remember that the virus can live on plastics and glass for up to 3 days. All right? So remember, don't touch shit when you go out there. All right? And if you do, you have to pick stuff up, disinfect your hands. Also remember, when you get it back to your little hidey hole, make sure you disinfect all those pieces of plastic and all that, because you have no idea who's been walking around in the Walmart, the Walgreens, the Krogers, the Rouses, any of those places, putting their contaminated little paws all over everything, all right, or coughing and hacking on it. Disinfect before it goes in to your casa. Remember it, all right? All right, story time, my freakish darlings. So today, due to much request from you guys out there, we are going to talk about Lindy Boggs Hospital. Now, I know you guys are always, awe-inspired, and you're waiting for my high-end graphics we have here. So, there you go, high-end graphics. This is Lindy Boggs. This is the hospital. 3 stories, some areas 4 stories. Hospital here in New Orleans. Now, Lindy Boggs was originally, when she opened, was 187 beds. She's not a huge hospital as hospitals go. But her original name was, she was the Mercy Hospital, which was founded and built in the 1920s. Now, in the 1990s, Mercy ended up merging with Southern Baptist, became one hospital, and was renamed Lindy Boggs as a way of honoring Congresswoman and Ambassador Lindy Boggs, and that's where it got its name. Now, I've gotten a chance to talk to some locals and natives who've been here since they were born, and Lindy Boggs is one of the places some of us stop on our tours when we give tours. Now, having talked to some of the locals here who've been here their entire lives, Lindy Boggs, when it was still up and operational up until Katrina, had the reputation, it was nicknamed the morgue, because it was said if you were an elderly patient and you went in, 9 times out of 10, you didn't come out. And apparently it had that type of reputation here in the city. So, crank that up to the reputation behind this hospital. Now, August 29th, 2005 hits. Lindy Boggs is an operational hospital. They've got patients inside. Hurricane Katrina is in the Gulf of Mexico. She's got her eyes on the New Orleans, Louisiana, Mississippi coast. She's coming in hard. So a lot of people around where Lindy Boggs is at decided, hey, it's a nice concrete big building. They've got generators. We'll go hang out in there and ride out the storm in Lindy Boggs. So by the time Hurricane Katrina comes on shore and starts beating the coastline, inside of Lindy Boggs, you've got over 500 people hunkering down for the storm, on top of the patients they already had inside. Now, they did try to evacuate some of the patients that were able to be evacuated pre the storm coming in, but the majority of their critical care patients couldn't be evacuated. Now, much like, and the logic behind this engineering, I am still trying to figure out to this day, having worked numerous hurricanes and evacuated hospitals back when I was in Texas, there in the Houston area when we got smacked a couple times. I have never understood the engineering idea of, we have a hospital in a coastal area that we know is a magnet for hurricanes, be it Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. But we're going to take and put all of our power and all of that electricity and all of our services coming into the hospital, we're going to stick them down in the basement. Brilliant idea. So, of course, Katrina comes in, storm bypasses, everybody's thinking, hey, we dodged the bullet. Then we lose the levees. The water starts rising. Well, that water goes right into the basement and starts flooding out the basement of Lindy Boggs. Takes out the main power source and their generators, because that's where the generators were located as well. So, they're dead in the water. Water's starting to rise, blows through the basement, gets to the first floor, starts rising up the first floor. First floor is where the emergency department is located. So, they end up having to evacuate to the upper floors. Now, I'm trying to keep my notes out of y'all's faces. I don't want to be rude, but there we go. Now, as the first floor started to flood out, keep in mind this is where the emergency department was. The other thing that happened is when they lost power to all of the elevators. So now they've got to tote all those patients upstairs via the stairs. Now, city is devastated. Lindy Boggs isn't even a blip on the radar at this point. Now keep in mind, they have critical care patients in their intensive care unit as well as on their floors. And a lot of these patients were on ventilators and dialysis. No power, no vents, no dialysis. So they were on a skeleton staffing as far as medics were concerned. And those medics did Herculean level activities trying to keep their patients alive, up to including handbagging patients for hours on end. Now, for any of you out there who haven't had a chance to ambu a patient for any length of time, trust me, it's not as easy as it sounds. You're sitting here squeezing, you are breathing for that patient, all right? And they did this, no power, 100-degree weather outside. They estimate that the temperature inside the hallways at Lindy Boggs was at least 104 to 110 inside the hospital. Now, they were stranded inside this hospital for 3 days before anybody knew they were there, before anybody even thought to get to them. Now, when rescue finally came in the form of the fire department from Slidell, they rolled up on their boats and started trying to evacuate patients. Keeping in mind at this point, now they're having to triage the people inside on who they're going to evacuate first. If you've never been in a triage situation, not something you ever want to voluntarily have to get into, because you're basically deciding who's going to live and who's going to die. Now, to add insult to injury, as these firefighters are trying to load people onto boats to get them over to the one dry place they could find in order for helicopters to land, command comes down through their chain of command that they are to evacuate Lindy Boggs, leave everybody there, and they are to pull out. Because people had been shooting, there had been gunshots, there had been all of this crap going down. And as far as chain of command was concerned, pull your firefighters out till the area can be secured. There's no physical way to secure an area like that. Well, much of the credit of the firefighters and their officers on scene, they kind of pushed and fibbed a little bit, bought them another 45 minutes to an hour to continue trying to evacuate patients out. which they finally did. Now, when the shit show that was Katrina, the aftermath of Katrina, was finally over, the official body count of bodies they found inside of Lindy Boggs was 19. Those numbers fluctuate back and forth, but most sources believe it was around 19 individuals passed away in the hospital. Keep in mind, that number is probably a lot higher. Record keeping, not the highest priority. Now, Lindy Boggs was shut down after Katrina, and it stayed completely shut down, and is still shut down to this day. In fact, you can drive by it. Some of our urban explorers, I wouldn't happen to know any urban explorers, have been inside of Lindy Boggs and walked around in there. The messed up part is the water that is down in the basement area, which is where the morgue was located, labs were located, all of that. That water has nowhere to go, has never been pumped out.
Yeah, it has.
It has now?
It has been pumped.
So apparently, from my loving wife telling me, they have now updatedly pumped it out. Rumor has it they're supposed to be doing work on it, but with the pandemic, that's all stopped. But having said that, that water stayed in there for 15 years. You can just imagine what that smelled like, and all the way up into the first floor. The pictures that we've gotten out of Lindy Boggs, I'll try and show you guys a couple of them. Again, some more of my high-speed graphics for you guys. Try and just work with me here. This right here is the emergency department. This is the ambulance dock for the ER, completely filled with water. I'm trying to show you guys. This is what the main entrance looks like today. And there's one really creepy picture I wanted to show you guys that kind of has an impact to it. And I've heard of other urban explorers talking about getting inside. There she is. Now, one, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it real well, but if you guys see this right here, this is the board at the nursing station. All the patients' names, as well as the nurses that were on duty on August 29th, are still written up on the board. It's still there. And this is the other one for the day after the storm. I don't know how well you guys can see it. But right there. One of the pull-out calendars says August 30th, 2005. So it's as if the hospital itself stopped dead in its tracks on August 29th and August 30th and the days following Katrina. Now, it's a very, very dangerous place to go urban exploring in. There's a lot of black mold everywhere. Keeping in mind that water had been in there for 15 some odd years, so you just imagine the damage that was done inside. Now, a lot of the urban explorers that have been inside, as well as some of the investigators, not many teams have gone in. And I would never condone urban exploring to do a paranormal investigation inside of a building that I don't have permission to go into. I would never do that. It's illegal. Don't do that. So, right up till the time the pandemic hit, we had made contact with the owners of Lindy Boggs and are trying to work with them to try and get us permission to go inside legally and above board, which means we can bring in all of our equipment and do a full-blown investigation inside of Lindy Boggs. Because the stories that have come out from Lindy Boggs is if you go down into the basement area, which is where the old boiler rooms are located, that there is the spirit of a doctor who hangs out in that area. And he's fairly aggressive in his protecting that area. He's been known to attack urban explorers as well as investigators who have been down in there. Other urban explorers have told me stories. Squid is one of ours. She's one of our tour guides. She's 5'0", and that girl will go into places that most huge, I'm a big old guy, won't go into. Seen her go inside. She has talked about being inside Lindy Boggs doing an urban exploration and hearing what sounds like the wheels of an IV stand moving up the hallway. Shine their flashlights down there, won't see anybody. She said where it starts to get really creepy is when you're up into the second, third, or fourth floors, completely destroyed, dead silent, the wind, you'll hear the wind whip through every now and then. But then you hear a call alarm go off at the nursing desk. Very distinctive sound. It's echoing throughout the hospital. Daniel, I will cut your knees off and feed you to a gator, brother. So they'll go down there. Of course, there's no power to the building. They don't see anything. She said as they're walking back, they've heard those call alarms go off again like somebody's trying to get their attention. So, keep in mind, if the stories are true and what people said about Lindsay Boggs being the morgue and the amount of death that happened inside that hospital just because of what it was, and that was before Katrina, then all the energy and anxiety and everything that went into the aftermath of Katrina, the energy inside of that building has got to be off the charts. So, as soon as we get through this pandemic, we'll be taking our equipment in there and doing an investigation. And Daniel, just so you know, I'm 5'6". Didn't know they could stack crap that high, did you? Ha! All right, y'all. Now, news time here in the city of New Orleans. That is the Hot Zone. As of the airing of this episode, here in the parish of Orleans Parish, we are up to 4,565 active cases that they know about. The numbers are actually much, much higher. As of right now, our deaths are at 171. Statewide, we have hit 14,867 cases, and our death toll is officially at 512. So, as they were warning us about, we're starting to slide into the explosion, into the apex time coming up. They've now officially opened the convention center, and they are starting to take patients at the convention center. You cannot do a walk-up at the convention center. The convention center is only to pull patients from the hospitals over to convention center to try and release some of the pressure on the convention center, on the hospital, excuse me. From what we have heard coming out of the hospitals, they're overtaxed. They're completely loaded. We're up to the stage of having patients in the hallways, and so the explosion has started. So we'll see where that goes. Other than that, things are still moving around here just a little bit, as you can hear traffic on the freeway. There are some jobs that are still up and operational. Most, however, have locked down in our casas. They have put out public service announcements that this next 7 to 14 days, if you absolutely do not have to go to the grocery store to get anything, lock down, stay in your houses, and don't let anybody get close to you, because apparently shit's starting to get real. So, our last public service announcement for today, for all of my nerdlings out there, guys, keep in mind, we have been practicing for this for years. Now's the time to bring out all those cool masks that we've been walking around the convention center sporting that we didn't really wear out in public that often. Now you get to wear them out in public. So pull your gear out, dust it off, make sure it fits well, maybe put a little liner in there. Now you get to walk around with some cool masks on. On that note, as I said, starting of the epidemic, I've come out of retirement as a leather worker. I have started cranking out leather again. We are taking custom orders. In fact, I now have custom orders coming in for some of my original leather masks, which I find creepily interesting since when we started ASI over a decade ago, first things I made were steampunk and raver masks. So I'm digging out some of those old techniques and those old patterns, and they will be coming back. One of the things we're doing with our patterns is we're adjusting the patterns so that with Velcro on the inside, so you can put an insert in, be it an actual mask or pieces of material, Velcro them into place so you can take stuff out, wash it, that sort of thing. If you're interested in all that kind of gear, hit me up on my Facebook page. I'll be posting stuff up, or PM me and talk to me about doing custom orders for you guys. Now, as always, if you want to donate to the Tea Room and help become one of our lifelines to continuing to eat and doing things, because now you guys are my career again, thanks to the pandemic. So God knows when we'll be able to start doing tours again. So those links will be in the comments, and anybody who has already donated to the cause, much thanks, guys. Words do not convey what that means to us. So, guys, as always, be safe with each other out there. Be healthy. That's an order. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Always watch your six as well. And always stay frosty because it's starting to get real. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Love is the key. We will get through this. We will come out the other side of it. Let's take care of each other while we do it. So as always, from the hot zone of New Orleans and here at the Demon's Tea Room, I'm Cedric. Much mad love and respect to all of my fam out there. You guys be good. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Same demon time, same demon channel. Peace out, y'all.